now turn up.
You might be asking yourself, why am I on the ground? Well, I'm next to my son, Jackson Robert. He's on some Billy lights, so I don't know if you know what that is, but it is basically a red blood cell breakdown, so he needs to be on these special lights here that are blue that help him break down that, or else we're going to have to go back to the hospital. We've been in a hospital for a couple days. But I figured I'd talk to you about one of the biggest questions, and that is Superflex early picks, not 101, because 101 we know is going to Trevor Lawrence. But it is Superflex 102, 103, 104. What are we going to do with some of these top quarterbacks, and what are we going to do with some of these top running backs that are in between these top quarterbacks? And I think a lot of these teams are going to be non-contending teams. So if you're a non-contending team and you're looking for a full rebuild, my highest suggestion is draft that quarterback. We look in the past statistics that most of these successful quarterbacks, most of them, are first-round quarterbacks. And we see this in the past years. Sometimes it's not even the first one. Sometimes it's the Josh Allens, the Deshaun Watsons, the Patrick Mahomes. Like, these are the second, third, fourth quarterbacks taken of these drafts. And so you need to get these solid QBs that might be around for 5, 10, 15 years in a rebuild, compared to a running back who only has a short shelf life, which is awesome for a contending team. And, of course, we're talking super flex only in these situations, because Trevor Lawrence is not a top 5 pick when we talk about 1 QB leagues. He's more in that like 8-9 range, which is a super high pick still for a 1 QB league. But super flex, where do we put these quarterbacks? Where do we have them? So right now, 101 is Trevor Lawrence, and even if you are a contending team, no matter what you are drafting, you're going up there, Trevor Lawrence. It's a big gap between Trevor Lawrence and the rest, because he's that once-in-a-generational talent. Number 2, for me personally, is Justin Fields. I feel confident enough that he is a mobile quarterback, but a decent enough quarterback that fantasy-wise he's going to be fine. And ultimately, that's all we care about, can he be on the field and can he produce in fantasy football? And he can do that. He can run, and he can be a very successful running quarterback. Number 3, in my mind, is going to be Trey Lance for that exact kind of same reason. He's a Deshaun Watson mold, maybe just a slightly more raw. His 2021 season might not be a great season, and he might be on the bench for the majority of that season. But if you're in a rebuild, you don't care. Honestly, then you can have another top pick in 2022, and then then that'll be the debate. Do you pick another quarterback, or do you get a running back? Or do you trade another quarterback on your roster for a different positional player? But ultimately, Superflex, again, 12 teams, 24 quarterbacks are needed every single week. And that is including bye weeks and injuries and everything happens. You need 3 quarterbacks on a roster. You really do. If you want to be a contending team, you just need it, because you never know. I see this every year. Somebody is halfway through the season, and they're feeling awesome. I even have seen it. I think it was last year. It was somebody had Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger. I can't remember what the third quarterback was. And those Ben Roethlisberger and Brees went down, and then their other third quarterback went down. They went from 3 quarterbacks to nothing, and that happens. But ultimately, you want to be able to trade for potentially a quarterback with your maybe 2022 first if you are a contending team trying to build or trying to get into that championship time. That's halfway through the year. But we look at some of these quarterbacks even last year. We have Jalen Hurts, that mobile quarterback. Is Jalen Hurts a better quarterback than like Jordan Love? We don't know that. But, I mean, Jalen Hurts is not an amazing quarterback. I mean, we look at Jalen Hurts even compared to like Tua. Who's a better quarterback? In my mind, I think it's Tua 1,000%. But Jalen Hurts, again, a mobile quarterback. And so Zach Wilson, will he be the second best quarterback or third best quarterback? Will he be a better quarterback in general in the NFL level? Potentially. He potentially will be a better quarterback at the next level. But we don't care about that in fantasy. We care about production. Lamar Jackson is a prime example of being a not great quarterback. And I will fight tooth and nail saying he's not a great quarterback. But again, fantasy production-wise, he's a decent quarterback. And that's all that matters in fantasy football. So if you're, again, kind of a summary. If you are in that, let's just say 2 QB, super flex, which is the same thing, tight end premium, 101 is going to be William Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to say that. William Trevor Lawrence. You can give him that 3 full names and go up to the podium and say, yep, that's who I'm picking. Number 2 for me is going to be Justin Fields. And this is for again, rebuilding team. Number 3 is still going to be in my mind, it's going to be Trey Lance. I'm picking him. And then number 4 is probably the hardest situation. But if you're still in a rebuild, I'm still picking Zach Wilson. I'm picking 4 quarterbacks. And you might have been saying, well, Mac Jones. What about Mac Jones? Mac Jones is in my opinion, doesn't have the athletic mobility of the other 4 quarterbacks. So I feel like he's going to be more of a standard quarterback that's not going to have a ton of fantasy production. So that's where that drop off. I think there's a tier of 4 quarterbacks. And then that's where I'm starting to pick the Najee Harris, the Travis Etienne, and then Jonathan Williams. I was almost a Jonathan Taylor. That's a combo. Javonte Williams. So Javonte Williams, and then I can start picking. Then Mac Wilson. Man, I am just losing it today. That's what happens when you have a newborn and you're lacking sleep. This little one has taken a lot of that, so my words have been jumbled, but you get the idea of what I'm trying to say. Then even that, I would start picking a couple of these elite wide receivers before we get into Mac Jones. And then there's a huge drop-off. And honestly, unless Kyle Trask or somebody gets taken in the first round, I'm not going to take a quarterback in Superflex until after these Tier 1 wide receivers. Kyle Pitts, of course, ahead of Mac Jones as well. I will eventually put in a Superflex rankings. It'll either be before or after draft. I mean, honestly, right now, not anything is changing much. You see all these smoke screens of this quarterback's going there, this quarterback's going where, and honestly, we just need to just see where it happens. I think that's going to be part of the battle. I think that's going to be part of the thing of what we just kind of have to wait on. I mean, there's not much else we can do. I'm not going to sit here and speculate because GMs are throwing smoke bombs and smoke screens left and right. So, I mean, honestly, that's the biggest issue. So, all right. So, quarterbacks, so let's just go quickly into if you are contending, where I would put Najee Harris. I would put him at 103. I would put him ahead of the Trey Lance, and I would put him above Zach Wilson. I think 103 is a prime spot for him, and I think that's a perfect situation because you're contending. Again, you need that running back. And honestly, I think Justin Fields is slightly better than the Trey Lance and Zach Wilson. That's why I have him a little bit above in that tier. But so Trevor Lawrence, whatever you want to call him, that's his name. Then you have Justin Fields. Then I would put Najee Harris. And even if you need a running back then, if you're low on running backs and high on quarterbacks, then I would, again, draft some of these running backs or trade back. Honestly, that is the best situation in this world. Like, it's sometimes tough because people know, like, oh, you don't need a quarterback. But if you can trade with a team that is needy at like 106, 107, this is where you trade back from 103 to 106, pick up a pick maybe in the late first, early second, so you can get yourself a Rondale Moore, a Jalen Waddle, even a Mac Jones later if you really wanted to, potentially. That is the prime spot. I am looking to trade back if I'm a contender going, okay, I have 103. I don't know if the Najee Harris to Javonte Williams, Travis Etienne drop is not a huge drop. So why don't I pick up another pick so let's just look at the trade. If you said 6 months down the future, you have Najee Harris, you traded Najee Harris for Javonte Williams and Jalen Waddle, like you're going to take the Javonte Williams and Jalen Waddle situation 10 out of 10 times, more than likely, unless Najee Harris turns into this basically Jonathan Taylor type and just is amazing, but I don't think that might not even be the case in this situation. So that is what this kind of whole scheme, fantasy football is fun. And Dynasty football is even more fun in Superflex leagues. They're all different challenges. No leagues are better. They're just all these different challenges and fun challenges. So you just have to kind of take it what it is and try to find these little nuances and strategies. So this is Marcus Dynasty Football Dads. Again, 1K subscribers. We're going to be giving away a Jerry Jeudy jersey. If you haven't seen it, you're going to have to go back a couple videos. I've shown it April 1st and on. So we're going to say goodbye. Are you sleeping already? Say goodbye. All right. Peace out. See you tomorrow.
Now turn up.